Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे, निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे।
हरे कृष्ण। विद्याशील प्रभु, आपके पीछे इतना बड़ा ब्लैक क्या है? ब्लैक बोर्ड है क्या, या टीवी है?
ये सब ब्लैक बोर्ड है प्रभु जी।
अच्छा
ब्लैक बोर्ड।
अच्छा अच्छा। तो इस पे आप श्लोक लिखवाएंगे गौरंगी से, जैसे ये लिखती है रेयांशी, क्लास
यस
लेती
प्रभु
है।
जी, उस पर्पज के लिए है। जी प्रभु जी,
हाँ।
उसी पर्पज के लिए है प्रभु जी।
अरे वेरी गुड।
दोनों है, व्हाइट बोर्ड ब्लैक बोर्ड दोनों है, आगे पीछे है ये।
अच्छा अच्छा, वेरी गुड, बहुत अच्छा। लेकिन बहुत ऊंचा है, उस पे उसका हाथ कैसे जाएगा?
अभी तो प्रभु जी वो नहीं दिखती है।
चलिए, तो कंटिन्यूइंग द फोर्थ चैप्टर, विदुर अप्रोचेस मैत्रेय. So we see that Uddhav is very intelligent personality. He is the most intelligent personality. He followed Krishna, and Krishna chose to give him the most condensed knowledge about his transcendental glories at the final juncture. Uddhav said, "O Vidur, when I was thus favored at every moment by Supreme Personality of Godhead and addressed by him with great affection, my word failed in tears." So this is natural. He was in ecstasy, in transcendental ecstasy, and the hairs on my body erupted. After smearing my tears, I with folded hands spoke like this. So this is Uddhavji speaking to Supreme Lord Krishna. को न ईशा ते पाद सरोज भाजम सुदुर्लभो आर्थेषु चार्थेषु अपीह तथापि नावं प्रवर्णोमि भूमा भवात् पदाम्बुजा निसेवना उक्तसा. Twice the word pada saroja is coming here. Pada saroj bhajam and padam bhoja nisevana. So see what is the reply from Uddhavji's side. Uddhav says, "O my Lord, devotees who engage in the transcendental loving service of your lotus feet have no difficulty in achieving anything." This is ko na isha te pad saroj bhajam. So those who are already engaged in the transcendental loving service of your lotus feet, what is easy? Sudurlabho artheshu chartheshu apiha. That all the four objectives are automatically achieved. What are the four objectives? The four pillars. O my Lord, devotees who engage in the transcendental loving service of your lotus feet have no difficulty in achieving anything within the realm of the four principles of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. But, O great one, as far as I am concerned, I have preferred only to engage in the loving service of your lotus feet. This is Tatapi Naham. Uh, I do not want to be amongst them. Pravarnomi Bhuman Bhavat Padambuja Nisevna Ut Sukhaha. That I prefer only to engage in the loving service of your lotus feet. That means he does not want these four things. What is the principle that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given? What is Srimad Bhagavatam? What is the glory that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has mentioned for Srimad Bhagavatam? What glory Srimad Bhagavatam has? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very much glorifies. Yes, Dayashil Prabhu.
प्रभु जी, अमल पुराना, अमल पुराना।
That is there, but even higher than that. What is the highest glory of Srimad Bhagavatam which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very much emphasized? The purpose of Bhagavatam. अब you should all be knowing यार, चैतन्य महाप्रभु के परंपरा में है, उनकी परंपरा में ही हम भागवतम का श्रवण करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं. यस रम्या.
Prabhu ji, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually very much appreciate the surrendering process of gopis.
No, that is there, but what is he has written about Srimad Bhagavatam? What it gives? It is in the same verse. I'm not asking that who is the highest worshipper of Krishna. I'm asking about what is his view on Srimad Bhagavatam. ये श्लोक इतनी बार जितनी बार ब्रज की यात्रा की है, हर बार आप लोग को सुनाता हूँ, सिखाता हूँ, और हर बार आप में से एक श्लोक याद नहीं होता है आप लोगों को. तो क्या आप ब्रज में जाओगे और किस लिए जाते हो? हाँ, ब्रज का स्पिरिट है ही नहीं. बोलो पुरुषोत्तम, ब्रज में रह रहे हो, कहाँ है या नहीं है? आज आप लोगों ने ज्वाइन किया है?
प्रभु जी वो नहीं है।
अच्छा. प्रेमा पुमार्थो महान, श्रीमद् भागवतम पुराण अमलम, प्रेमा पुमार्थो महान, श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु मतमिदम. This is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mata, that it gives the highest benefit. What is that highest benefit? Prema Pumartho Mahan. Srimad Bhagavatam Purana Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan. And this is what Uddhavji is seeking. He says, I have preferred only to engage in the loving service of your lotus feet. Listen the purport, very beautiful purport. Those who are associated with the Lord in the Vaikuntha planets achieve all the bodily features of the Lord and appear to be the same as Lord Vishnu. This such liberation is called Sarupya Mukti. Or it is also Salokya. Of course, unless and until it is Salokya, there cannot be Sarupya, which is one of the 5 kinds of liberation. The devotees engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord never accept Sayujya Mukti, or merging into the ray of the Lord called the Brahmajyoti. The devotees can achieve not only liberation, but any success in the realm of religiosity, economic development, or sense gratification. Dharma, Arth, Kam, and Moksha, up to the standard of the demigod in a heavenly planet. But such a pure devotee as Uddhava refuses to accept such facilities. A pure devotee wants simply to engage in the service of the Lord and does not consider his own personal benefit. What is the verse? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's verse. Pure devotee refuses to accept such facilities. Bolo Pradeep, what is the verse? This is the foundation. Manoram Prabhu?
Prabhuji, this is Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundarim.
Yes. Very good. Precise. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundari. Kavitam va jagadish kamane काम ये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात भक्ति रहे तो की तुई। इसको क्या होगा? कर्माणि अनिहस्य भाव भावयास्ते दुर्गाशयो अथारी भयात् पलायनम कालात्मनो यत् प्रमाद आयुक्त आश्रम कालात्मनो यत् कालात्मनो यत् प्रमाद आयुक्त आश्रम स्वात्मानरिते खीदयति धीर्विदम इह. My lord, even the learned sages become disturbed in their intelligence when they see that your greatness engages in fruitive work, although you are free from all desires, that you take birth although you are unborn, and that you flee out of fear of the enemy and take a shelter in the fort, although you are the controller of invisible time, and that you enjoy householder life surrounded by many women, although you enjoy on yourself. So the Krishna Lila is very, very guhyam. Janma karma chamher divyam. Even the great sages are unable to understand. They get disturbed. Pure devotees of the Lord are not very much concerned with philosophical speculation in regard to transcendental knowledge of the Lord. Nor is it possible to acquire complete knowledge of the Lord. Whatever little knowledge they have about the Lord is sufficient for them, because devotees are simply satisfied in hearing and chanting about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. This gives them all transcendental bliss. But some of the pastimes of the Lord appear contradictory, even to such pure devotees, and thus Uddhava asked the Lord about some of the contradictory incidents in his pastime. The Lord is described as having nothing to do personally, and it is actually so, because even in the creation and sustenance of the material world, the Lord has nothing to do. It seems contradictory then to hear that the Lord personally lifts the Govardhan hill for the protection of his unalloyed devotees. The Lord is the supreme Brahman, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead appearing like a man. But Uddhav has doubt whether he could have had whether he could have so many transcendental activities. There is no difference between the personality of Godhead and the impersonal Brahman. Then how can the Lord have so many things to do? Whereas the impersonal Brahman is stated as having nothing to do either materially or spiritually. If the Lord is unborn, how then is he born as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki? He is fearful even to Kala, the supreme fear. And yet the Lord is afraid of fighting Jarasan and takes shelter in a fort. How can one who is full in himself take pleasure in the association of many women? How can he take wives and just like a householder take pleasure in the association of family members, children, relatives, and parents? All these apparently contradiction happenings bewilder even the greatest learned scholar, who is thus bewildered cannot understand whether inactivity is a fact or whether his activity are only imitations. The solution is that the Lord has nothing to do with anything mundane. All his activities are transcendental. This cannot be understood by a mundane speculator. For the mundane speculator, there is certainly a kind of bewilderment. But for the transcendental devotees, there is nothing astonishing in this. The Brahman conception of the absolute truth is certainly the negation of all mundane activities. But the Para Brahman conception is full with transcendental activities. One who knows the distinction between the conception of Brahman and the conception of Supreme Brahman is certainly a real transcendentalist. There is no bewilderment for such transcendentalist. The Lord Himself also declares in Bhagavad Gita 10:2, even the great sages and demigod can know hardly anything about my activities and transcendental potencies. Na me vidu surgana prabhuvam cha maharshiya. The right explanation of the Lord activity is given by grandfather Bhishma as follow. Na hi asya karhi chidrajan puman vedo vidhishtitam yad vignayasya yad vignayas yad vijisnaya yuktah muhyanti kaviyopihi. O king, no one can know the plan of Lord Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. Mantreshu mamba upahuya yatva akhand sadatma mantreshu mamba upayu yatva akuntita akuntita akhand सदात्म बोध पृच्छे प्रभु मुग्ध अप अप्रमत्तात तन्वो मनो मोहयति इव देवः. My Lord, your eternal self is never divided by the influence of time, when there is no limitation of your perfect knowledge. Thus, you are fully able to consult with yourself, and yet you called upon me for consultation, as if bewildered, although you were never bewildered. And this act of yours bewilders me. This is what Uddhav is speaking to the Supreme Lord. Your eternal self is never divided by the influence of time, and there is no limitation to your perfect knowledge. Thus, you are fully able to consult with yourself, and yet you called upon me for consultation. Who is speaking this? Who is speaking this verse? You are fully able to consult with yourself, and yet you called upon me for consultation as if bewildered, although you were never bewildered. And this act of yours bewilders me. Who is getting bewildered? Bolo Rianshi?
उद्धव जी प्रभु जी।
Yes, very good. Uddhav ji. Hmm? Uddhav is showing that he is getting bewildered. Uddhav was never actually bewildered. Yeah, Prabhupada clarifies. But he says that all these contradictions appear to be bewildering. Who also says so? One who is not bewildered but also claims in Bhagavatam that Krishna is very bewildering. His activities, actions, his pastimes are very, very bewildering. Who is saying? Ah, yes, Ramya.
प्रभु जी ब्रह्मा जी।
Kunti Maharani. Kunti Maharani in her prayer. What is the prayer? Which verse is that? बोलो. अमोहा बताएगी. कुंती महारानी कौन सी प्रेयर में बोल रही है कि that Krishna is very bewildering? बोलो बोलो जल्दी बोलो. वो सब श्लोक सब याद किए थे, सब भूल भाल गए. हाँ बोलो, बोलो रम्या, बोलो।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी गोप्या दते त्वयि कृतघशीदाम तावत् यत्ते दशाश्रु कलिलाञ्जन सम्भ्रमक्षं भक्तं निनीय भवभवनया स्थितस्य समां विमोहतीभिरपि यद्विभेति.
Yes. One more verse. There are two verses. One more verse is there. बोलो प्रियंका, रिवाइज नहीं करते हो आप लोग? हाँ, याद करके भूल गए? बोलो अम्मा, बोलो, आपकी मम्मी बोलेगी, बोलिए।
प्रियशिशुजातस्तु तत्यत्यंत विडंबना.
विडंबना, विडंबना। एक और श्लोक है, पूरा भरा हुआ है। 1829। न वेद कश्चित् भगवान चिकीर्षिता तबेह मानस्य निर्णाम विडंबना न यस्य कश्चित् दयतो अस्ति कर्हि चेत् द्वेषश्च यस्मिन् विषममतिर्निराम। फुल है। तो क्या कुंती महारानी को पता नहीं है? सब पता है, लेकिन बाकी लोगों को नहीं पता है। सो एवरीवन एल्स इज bewildered. But he says that all these contradictions appear to be bewildering. The whole discussion between Krishna and Uddhav was meant to benefit, for the benefit of Maitreya, who was sitting nearby. The Lord used to call Uddhav for consultations when Mathura was attacked by Jarasandh and others, and when the Lord executed great sacrifices as part of his routine royal work as Lord of Dwarka. The Lord has no past, present, or future because he is unhampered by the influence of eternal time, and thus nothing is hidden from him. He is eternally self intelligent. Therefore, this calling upon Idhav to give him enlightenment is certainly astonishing. All these actions of the Lord appear to be contradictory, although there is no contradiction in the routine activities of the Lord. Therefore, it is better to see them as they are and not to attempt to explain them. This is very important. तो इन सब चीजों के ऊपर ज्यादा चर्चा करने की जरूरत नहीं है। हाँ, not an attempt to explain them, but what to do, but better to accept them. ज्ञानम परम स्वात्मा रहा प्रकाशम प्रवोचा कस्मै भगवान समाग्रम अपि शमम नो ग्रहणाय भर्ते वादांजसा यद वृजिनाम तरेमः. My Lord, if you think us competent to receive it, kindly explain to us that transcendental knowledge which gives enlightenment about yourself, which enables one to cross over all afflictions, and which you explained before to Brahma ji. सब कुछ पूछ लिया, उद्धव जी ने कुछ छोड़ा नहीं. A pure devotee like Uddhav has no material afflictions because he engages constantly in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. A devotee feels afflicted without the association of the Lord. Consequently, constant remembrance of the Lord's activity keeps the devotee alive. And therefore, Uddhav requested that the Lord please enlighten him with the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam as previously instructed to Brahmaji. इति अविदिता हार्दय मह्यं स भगवान् पर आदिदेश अरविन्दाक्षः आत्मना परमं स्थितम्. When I thus expressed my heartfelt desire into the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the lotus-eyed Lord instructed me about his transcendental situation. The word Paramam Sthitam are significant in this verse. The Lord's transcendental situation was not even spoken of to Brahma when these four verses of Srimad Bhagavatam 2:9:30-36 were explained. The transcendental situation comprised his dealing with devotees engaged in transcendental loving service, as exhibited at Dwarka and Vrindavan. When the Lord explained his transcendental, specific transcendental situation, it was meant for Uddhava only. And therefore Uddhava partially said, Mahyam unto me. Although the great sage Maitreya was always sitting there, such a transcendental situation is hardly understood by those whose devotion is mixed with speculative knowledge of fruitive activities. The Lord activities in confidential love are very rarely disclosed to the general devotees who are attracted by devotion mixed with knowledge and mysticism. Such activities are the inconceivable pastimes of the Lord. So it is not discussed among the neophyte or the non-advanced devotee because it is beyond their comprehension to accept it. स एवाराधितो पादतीर्थाद् अधितात्वात्मा विबोधमार्गः प्राणामय पादो परिवृत्य देवान् इहागतो अहं विरह इहागतो इहं इहागतो इहागता अहं विरह अतुरात्मः विरह अतुरात्मः. I have studied the path of understanding self-knowledge from my spiritual master, the personality of Godhead. And thus, after circumambulating him, I have come to this place very much aggrieved due to separation. This Vidur is being told by Uddhav that I have studied the path of understanding self-knowledge from my spiritual master, the personality of Godhead. And thus, after circumambulating him, I have come to this place very much aggrieved due to separation. Where they have met? Where they have met? Vidurji and Uddhav. What is this place? बताइए. Yes, Dayashir Prabhu.
प्रभु जी प्रभास क्षेत्र
In?
प्रभास क्षेत्र
हाँ.
प्रभास
प्रभास
क्षेत्र
क्षेत्र में कहा है? प्रभास क्षेत्र तो आ गए ना वहां से तो क्या बोला अभी तो क्या सुना आपने? प्रभास क्षेत्र में तो भगवान से मिले थे. क्या सुन रही हो आप? अभी क्या पढ़ा हमने? आपने सारा उलट दिया. क्या लिखा? I have thus studied the part of understanding the self-knowledge from my spiritual master, the personality of Godhead. ये प्रभास क्षेत्र में हो गया. And thus after circumambulating, I have come to this place. Very much aggrieved due to separation. So I have come to प्रभास क्षेत्र. तो उसमें बोलने क्या तो प्रभास क्षेत्र में तो थे ही वो. Where has he come? बोलो जल्दी बोलो. ये पे पता कर लेना, मैं नहीं बता रहा. Sri Uddhav's actual life is the direct symbol of the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, enunciated first to Brahmaji by the personality of Godhead, Srimad Bhagavatam 2, 9, 33, 34, 35, and 36. These four very great and important verses from Srimad Bhagavatam are particularly taken out by the Mayavadi speculators who construe a different purport to suit their personal view of monoism. Here is the proper answer to such unauthorized speculators. The verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are purely theistic science, understandable by the postgraduate students of the Bhagavad Gita. The unauthorized dry speculators are offenders at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna because they distort the purport of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to mislead the public and prepare a direct path to the hell known as Andhatamishraha. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 16:20, such envious speculators are without knowledge and are surely condemned life after life. They honestly take shelter of Sripad Shankaracharya, but he was not so drastic as to commit an offense at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. According to Sri Chaitanya, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sripad Shankaracharya preached the Mayavad philosophy for a particular purpose. Such a philosophy was necessary to defeat the Buddhist philosophy of the non-existence of the spirit soul, but it was never meant for perpetual acceptance. It was an emergency. Thus, Lord Krishna was accepted by Shankaracharya as the personality of Godhead in his commentation on the Bhagavad Gita. Since he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, he did not dare write any commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam because that would have been a direct offense. Lotus feet of the Lord. But later, speculators, the name of Mayavad philosophy, unnecessarily make their commentary on the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam without any bona fide intent. The monastic dry speculators have no business in the Srimad Bhagavatam because this particular Vedic literature is forbidden by them, by the great author himself. Srila Vyasdev says definitely forbidden person engaged in religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and finally salvation from trying to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which is not meant for them. Sripad Sridhar Swami, the great commentator of Srimad Bhagavatam, has definitely forbidden the salvationist or monoist to deal in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not for them. Srimad Bhagavatam is not meant for them. Sripad Sridhar Swami, the great commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, has definitely forbidden the salvationist or monist to deal in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not for Gyanis. It is not for those who are seeking moksha or liberation. It is only for bhaktas. Yet such unauthorized persons previously tried to understand Srimad Bhagavatam and thus they commit offenses at the feet of Lord, which even Sripad Sankaracharya dared not to do. Thus they prepare for the continuation of miserable life. It should be particularly noted herein that Uddhav studied the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, who first spoke the verses to Brahmaji, and this time the Lord explained more confidentially the self-knowledge mentioned in the previous verse as Paramnishtham. Upon learning such self-knowledge of love, Uddhav felt very much aggrieved by feelings of separation from the Lord. Unless one is awakened to the stage of Uddhav, everlasting feeling of separation of the Lord is in transcendental love as exhibited by Lord Chaitanya alone. One cannot understand the real import of the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the qualification. One should not indulge in the unauthorized act of twisting the meaning and thereby putting himself on the dangerous path of offense. सोहम दर्शन आह्लाद वियोगार्थी युक्त प्रभु गामिष्ये दयितं तस्य बादरायाश्रम मंडलम. My dear Vidur, now I am mad for want of the pleasure of seeing you. Wow. And just to mitigate this, I am now proceeding to Badrik Ashram in the Himalayas for association, as I have been instructed by him. A pure devotee of the Lord of the standard of Udhav constantly associates with the Lord in the double perception of simultaneous separation and meeting. A pure devotee is not for a moment unengaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. Execution of the Lord's service is the main occupation of the pure devotee. Very important. Execution of Lord's service is the main occupation of the pure devotee. Uddhav's separation from the Lord was unbearable and therefore he started to Badrik Ashram. Hmm. From where? From where he started for Badrik Ashram? Where he met? अब तो बता दो अब क्या है. अब तो पता चल गया किस रास्ते से गए, कहाँ से मिले. बोलो रम्या, अब तो सही आंसर दो.
प्रभु जी, उद्धव जी met, Vidur Maharaj met Uddhav ji in the bank of Jamuna. That is,
यमुना? पागल हो,
bank,
वृंदावन में मिले
bank
क्या?
of,
हाँ, सब गलत सलत बोल रही है आज. ढूंढ लेना, ढूंढो. Therefore he started for Badrik Ashram. Badrik Ashram जाने के लिए कौन सा रास्ता है मालूम नहीं है? In obedience to the Lord's order, because the order of the Lord was that the Lord himself are identical. As long as one is engaged in the execution of the order of the Lord, there is no factual separation from him. Okay, I will stop here. It is already 9 o'clock here also. आपका 9 से ऊपर हो गया, कितना हो गया? 9-12.
यस प्रभु जी।
ठीक है, डेली 7 वर्सेस हम कवर कर रहे हैं. पढ़ो, आप लोग नहीं पढ़ोगे तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, सब ऐसे ही निकल जाएगा. हरे कृष्णा. कोई प्रश्न है तो पूछिए. पढ़ेंगे तो प्रश्न आएगा, पढ़ना ही नहीं है तो प्रश्न कहाँ से आएगा? अच्छा दयाशील, सैटरडे को ऑनलाइन क्लास करेंगे वहां पे, ठीक है?
जी प्रभु
और
जी।
ये सब आपका अगर टाइम वाइम का लफड़ा है तो ऑनलाइन क्लास करिए. आप बुलाओगे उनको पहले, कोई आएगा नहीं, जल्दी भगा दोगे तो भी कोई फायदा नहीं है. उससे बढ़िया ऑनलाइन क्लास कर लो.
यस प्रभु जी, क्योंकि सुन नहीं पाएंगे प्रभु जी, क्योंकि आधा उधरा हो रहा है वहाँ पे। वहाँ वो तो जल्दी जाएगा, वो
ये
बोल
तो
रहा है
आपको
कि
खुद इतना, इतनी इंटेलिजेंस तो होनी चाहिए ना, कैसे मैनेज करना है. इतने साल हो गए हैं, कुछ समझ में ही नहीं आता क्या करना है. एक एक वॉचमैन के ऊपर हमारा क्लास थोड़ी डिपेंडेंट है यार, कि वो आएगा तो क्लास होगी वरना नहीं होगी. कोई प्रश्न नहीं है किसी का? तो हम आज के लिए बंद करते हैं. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी. सुबेरे आ रहे हैं आप लोग? मैं इधर में चेक नहीं कर रहा हूँ, करना पड़ेगा. लगता तो नहीं कि आप सब इतने सिंसियर हैं कि आप सवेरे सब 5 बजे से लेकर 7 बजे तक सब जप कर रहे हैं. हरे कृष्णा.